very good morning to you all. Welcome to a new video. In today's video, what I wanted to do, I'm holding a mic purely because it's just a little bit more convenient and you can hear me a bit better. So excuse why I'm holding this if it's annoying you. Um, I'm just currently, it's a beautiful Tuesday morning down in Bristol. I'm currently being tipped, so I thought it'd be a great time to record a very short video on a topic that I find I'm receiving questions on this topic, shall I say, on a regular basis now. Now, a lot of new drivers do tend to come through or pick up my videos, so to speak, on my channel. And I do have a good fair few of you guys who follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Because I speak to you via direct messages sometimes, and you'll ask me questions, and I'll answer them as best I can when I can, of course. But one of the questions that tends to pop up on a regular basis, and a lot more now than ever before, is from new drivers coming into the industry. And they tend to ask me, what was your first night like when you first became a Class 1 driver as a tramper, sleeping in the truck? So I'll give you an example. Some people will ask me the question around that topic, and they'll say, the question would be sort of, I'm due to be starting a new job with a company soon. What's it like sleeping in a truck for the very first time? How did you find it, and what am I going to experience? Now, obviously, the obvious answer to that is you're not going to experience anything unless you try it, like anything else in life. Unless you try something, you're not going to know whether it's for you or not. That's the first and foremost, and I think most of you would probably agree that is the case anyway. Excuse me. However, my very first night was actually, I started off at, well, where did I start off? I started off a night, sorry, for Downton's EV Cargo, now known as EV Cargo, but that was night work, so that wasn't sleeping in the truck, because I'd sleep during the day and I'd be out on a night shift in the evening, 6 in the evening till, 6, 7, stroke 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, home by 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, so 12, 13-hour nights. Didn't work out for me, but I wasn't sleeping in a truck, I was doing night work. At that particular time, wasn't for me. However, I then moved on to a company called A.W. Jenkinson. A lot of you guys will know that I worked for them for about 3 months or so, or just shy of 3 months, and that didn't work out for me either, due to a number of reasons. So, that we don't need to go into, obviously, but it wasn't the best of experiences for me personally. I know a lot of you guys have started off with them and have great experiences because they do take on new drivers, new passers. So, hey, a good way to get experience, right, before you want to move on to something better maybe, or something else. But they have drivers that have been working for them for a very long time. I know a lot of drivers are very happy with them. So, what works for one person doesn't work for another in most cases anyway, and that's not just them, it's every company. But that was my first experience as a tramper. My first night out as a tramper for them was an interesting experience because I started with them. It was a sort of towards the end of the year, so sort of winter time really. Cold, wet, frosty, constantly raining every day. So my very first night was in the truck, and I stayed in Sittingbourne. I think I actually stayed in a yard that night because I had a local run. They sent me local because they wanted to make sure that I was okay, I guess, as a new driver, and not send me too distant, if you like. I was very nervous. I'm not going to lie. My first night, I was excited, very excited, just like yourselves, but I was very nervous at the same time. And the reason why I was nervous because I didn't know what to expect, just like yourselves. But in terms of what I experienced, and this is my first night I'm talking about. I've done this for shy of 3 years now, tramping, and I'm totally used to it now, totally used to it. The one thing I would say is if you're quite an independent individual, then you'll be fine. If you can look after yourself, hygiene-wise, cook yourself food, eat well or eat If you can make yourself a cup of coffee and tea, if you're quite independent, like to be on your own, don't want someone looking over your shoulder, you'll be fine. I genuinely think you'll be fine. But in terms of sleeping in the cab, first night, daunting for me. And the reason why I say that is because the night I stayed in the cab, it was cold, it was wet, um, it was rain. It was rain, obviously, um, and I remember actually laying down, actually, in fact, I remember parking up, thinking, "Blimey, this is different to being at home," so to speak. And I remember actually laying down on my bed. I closed the curtains for the first time. I sat in this tin can, or this box, if you like. We call it, a lot of drivers call it tin cans, a baked bean can, if you like. And I remember actually laying on my bed thinking, what am I going to do with myself? I have no TV. I had a fridge. I had a fridge freezer. I had a microwave, not the first couple of weeks, in fact, because I had to buy a microwave from another driver because I got his truck, gave him £240 cash to buy his microwave off him. Yes, some will say I've been ripped off, but I was transferred into his cab. He was leaving the company. I got his lorry, bought a microwave off him because I needed to heat my food up. So for the first short period of time, I had no microwave. But my first night was daunting, I must say. And you do lay there, honestly, you do. You do lay there and contemplate whether you've made the right decision or not. Now, I was pretty excited. Very similar to when I started in the forces many years ago. I was super excited about taking on a new challenge. I've just passed, just got my license. It didn't faze me one bit. I wanted to try it. I wanted to do it. I wanted to earn more money, because obviously you do earn more money by spending nights out in the truck with your meal allowance and your night out money, so to speak. And that's the main reason why I was doing it. But I wanted to experience it as well. I know many of you will want to experience it. I laid there. I did contemplate, what do I do with myself? That's the first thing you ask. You lay down this bed and you literally lay there thinking, right, phone. You're scrolling your phone, but then it isn't until the first few weeks you think, I need an iPad, or I need a TV in the cab. I need entertainment in the cab. If I've got downtime, what do I do with my time? Now, obviously, what I do with my time, I tend to record videos during the week for you guys. I'll edit my videos in the evening. I'll get the Kindle out. I'll read a book. I've got a physical book here that I read and entertain myself with. Watch Your Dreams. I'm reading at the moment. So I do like to read, keep myself educated. But the first night, I laid there. I contemplated, is this for me? Is this the right move? But because the one thing that kept me plugging along in terms of nights out was not just the money, forget about that for a second. It was about me as a new driver finding my experience, getting my experience. And I must say, it was the best decision I made. Whether I had a good experience there at that company or not, it's irrelevant. It was the experience of actually being on the road, waking up in the morning, you're on the road straight away, bang, you're in your office, you're going straight to your job, that sort of thing. Experience being a proper trucker on the road. And some will say, well, hang on a second, because you sleep in your cab, you're not a proper trucker. To be honest with you, you're not. I don't think you are. If you drive a lorry, you're a trucker. But to experience trucking, sleep in the cab, tramping is a whole different experience to day work and night work and going home in the evening. You lay there. You've got fridges next to you with fridges on. Now, if some people will sleep through noise, some people won't. I struggle to sleep through noise. I like peace and quiet. If I see a fridge driver parked in the services, I will not park next to him. I won't risk it. I will try and park next to a flatbed or a tanker, but not ADR tanker, milk tank or whatever. I'll park next to a curtain sider, whatever, a low loader, etc., etc. I'll always avoid parking next to a fridge, but that is something you will have to put up with, sleeping in the cab, and that could happen on your first night as well. So you need to be very aware of that as well. Coldness, I was very cold the first night. My night heater wasn't the greatest. I had 2 blankets on me, 2 pillows. I was pretty cold, but once the blankets were on me, I was fine. What else? You know, cooking in the truck for the first time was quite daunting as well, because although I can cook for myself and I'm very independent, look after myself, I can look after myself, should I say. Cooking was like, what do I do? Right, I've got the gas stove there, or gas cooker there. Right, I never microwave the first night, but once I got that, I was like that. But I was using a gas cooker the first night. And the reason why I used that is because in the military, I use the gas cooker on hexi blocks, in fact, on a regular basis. Those who served in the military will know exactly what I mean with regards to hexi blocks on a cooker. Although in today's age, a lot of it is gas. With drivers on the road, a lot of drivers still use gas. I've seen them use it, but I didn't know what to do with myself in terms of eating. Like, wow, I'm in this truck, not a little truck, it was a big truck, and I didn't know what to do. I was completely lost. I was so disorientated, so to speak, because I wasn't used to this type of lifestyle. Finishing work, I've just parked up, I've turned the engine off, done my paperwork at the end of the day, closed my curtains, depending on what time of night it is. I'm a little bit lost. I'm used to being at home playing my PlayStation or Xbox, or running, going to the gym or something like that. That's all gone completely out the window. My lifestyle in terms of that has gone. Now you can play your PlayStation, your Xbox in your truck if you've got a telly. You can set it all up, and there's drivers who actually have plenty of entertainment set up in their truck. But you're only going to do that if you're going to be doing tramping long term. You won't want to spend all this money on kit and entertainment in your truck. Firstly, if it's not your truck, forget about it. Secondly, if you're not going to be with that company for a while, what's the point in spending the money and investing into your comforts, if you like, in the evening? That's how I see it. Now, I have spent money on curtains. I've got bedding. Um, I haven't got all the fancy. I've got a mat down here. I haven't got all the fancy seat covers and dash covers and stuff, because, to be honest with you, it is expensive. It is very expensive to buy. I've got a steering wheel cover there and stuff like that, but I've made this as homely as I possibly can, and I've been with my current company for 2 years, obviously. But going back to my first night out, very daunting, and you will experience that. But don't be phased by it. Don't quit at the first hurdle. Another example is when you need a toilet. You can't just get up that night. I remember busting for a number two, so to speak. Pardon my French, but that's the politest way I'm going to put it. You have to physically get dressed, get out the cab, walk to the services. If you're parked on a lay-by, well, use your imagination. How you want to do that yourself is up to you. However, these are the sort of experiences you're going to come across as a tramper, possibly on your first night. So I had all this going on in one night, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is crazy!" But you tend to get on with it. When you're a new driver, you tend to just get on with it, knuckle down. You work your routine out. You work out what's best for you. You speak to experienced drivers. They give you hints and tips and stuff like that. So your first night will be challenging, guys. One thing I'd say is stick with it. Be patient. You will get used to sleeping in the truck. I have got used to sleeping in a truck now. I know I have a routine. I had a routine back then. After a few weeks of being in the truck, I had my routine. You sit in your truck. You plan your next day. You plan what time you got to leave. You get up at a certain time. You want to leave at a certain time to get to that job, etc., etc. You'll find your own routine, and every driver does that. So yes, the first night was very daunting for me. I'm not going to lie. I won't lie to you about it. I was very daunting, and I did contemplate thinking, nah, sod this. Let's go to another job, do day work or something like that. Because I knew night work wouldn't work for me at that particular time, because we had a very young daughter at the time and stuff like that. So, and sleeping during the day for me at the time was impossible. But my little one has a lot more grown up now, so it would be a lot easier if I was on night work now to actually get sleep, because she understands things a lot more now. She's older, sort of thing. And when Daddy needs rest, she knows to leave Daddy alone, so to speak. But yeah, so if you're a new driver, just bear in mind, you are going to experience. I mean, the summer months as well. It gets hot in these cabs. Make sure you've got fans and stuff like that. But that's a different topic. It's about the first night in a truck. How I found it was daunting. I was quite not scared, but I would lock the doors. You lock the doors anyway, because you don't know who's been walking around your cab and stuff like that. Um, and Yeah, it was certainly an experience. But one thing I got used to is I got used to it. I got used to being in a cab after a few weeks, and I started to enjoy it more. And the good thing is, I was earning half decent. Well, I wasn't earning good money where I was at a particular time. I'm earning better money now, believe me, a lot better. But at that particular time, I wasn't happy with the money and stuff either. Um, if you're, when you're a tramper, you should get paid. You should get paid regardless of where you stay.